Hi, I'm Frank Spencer, Mr. Chatsworth, and this is your quick market update for January 2023. Wow, can you believe it? And what a difference a few months make. If we look at the market action index, it'll give you an indication of obviously where the market is today, but more importantly, where it's trending. If we go back to, say August of last year, maybe even as late as September, right in this range here, before the Fed started really focusing on increasing interest rates, our market action index was somewhere in the mid 80s to mid 90s and held pretty consistently in the seller's favor. Fast forward a couple months, and you can see that today our market action index is much closer to 30, hovering right around 35 right now. And that's an important number because below 30, we trend into a buyer's market, and that really changes the dynamic of the market and certainly will put downward pressure on pricing. But I'll tell you, we're experiencing a little bit of that right now. Saying that, I want to put it into perspective and remind you that over the last 2 or 3 years, we've seen amazing growth in the value of our home. So what we're experiencing right now, while some fear might be a bubble, probably more realistically is just an adjustment due to market activity. And remember, the law of supply and demand is king. And that being said, demand is still greater than supply. Today in Chatsworth, there are 44 homes, somewhere in that range, for sale, and they're selling relatively quickly, given the dynamic that we've experienced with rising interest rates and issues with loan qualifying and so on. So all that being said, let's jump into this a little bit. And we can see that if we look at the median list price, we've started to plateau. Back in May, we had a trend line that started to cease to peak and started to decrease. And we've kind of plateaued right now, right about 980,000, just below a million. And we see that kind of stabilizing right now as interest rates start to come down. I want to give you a brief overview of a couple other metrics that we look at when we decide where things are going. And certainly how long it's taking to sell a home is part of that. And you can see that our trend line is really going up. We've gone from about 12 minutes to sell to 2 or 3 months, and the reality is that a lot of that has to do with qualifying. It's tougher with interest rates going from 2.5%, 3%, up into the mid sixes. It became a lot more difficult for the average buyer to buy the average home, and so you're seeing some deals fall out. You're seeing buyer apprehension and a adverse mindset toward moving into purchase. However, interest rates have started to trend down. We're hoping to see them sometime in the near future. In that high 5, mid 5 range, we believe, and the economists that we follow believe that will bring affordability back to home ownership, even at today's prices, and allow us to move forward. So days on market are up, and price per square foot, well, you can see they're trending up a little bit. Interesting, isn't it? So again, I don't see it as being in a bubble situation, but what I do see is as interest rates come down, buyers are coming back into the market. Although again, remind you of the market action index, there is a little bit of apprehension or apathy on the buyer's side, wondering which way they're going to go. final thing I want to remind you before we move off this slide is that in every market, buyers want to buy, sellers want to sell. And sellers, if you're in the market to sell right now, be prepared to negotiate a little bit. You don't have the same control you had a couple months ago, but the market still favors you somewhat. So this one is kind of interesting, and this is one that we look at frequently. Today, the percentage of properties that list and then end up having to adjust their price, running about 39%. So that's telling you that sellers are hanging on to those higher values in that different market that we were in, where they can name any price and somebody would pay that price. And 39% of those people who get into the market with the intent to sell their home are having to reevaluate their pricing strategy in order to get in escrow. And that's the biggest reason we're seeing that 112 days on market average. Those who price properly and competitively are still selling pretty quickly. Those who overreach are taking a little bit longer to get under contract. So all that being said, price properly and you'll be just fine. This is interesting, and there are some properties out there that are increasing. They're coming in low, getting a little bit of bidding action, and are finding a little extra dollar or two in their sale price. However, that number is trending down as you would well believe, or expect. And one last thing I want to look at that I think is kind of important to you, and I don't see it here, but I do know what the numbers are, and that is that the median lease price in the market right now is $4,200 median rent and a month, and those numbers are flat, but they're down from the peak, and the rental market is also seeing an adjustment in value. So let's talk about where the market is in terms of quartiles, each being 25%. The luxury homes, the top end median price is $2.5 million. It's going to be about a 5,200 square foot home on 1 to 2.5 acres, 5 bedroom, 7 bath on average. It's going to be about 30 years old. Note that it's taking about 84 days to sell. The second quartile of homes is 1.2 million. And again, that's 2,600 square foot, quarter acre, half acre, 4 bedroom, 3 bath. It's taking only about 42 days to sell. So interesting dynamic there. More action is happening, I think, on the second tier of homes. People are seeing greater value than they're seeing. But if you look at the number of homes sold or coming to market, those numbers aren't substantial. Most of the market activity is in the lower quartiles, as you would expect, and even then, we're not seeing a lot of new homes come on market, and we're not seeing a lot of sales. But that third quartile is kind of where the median is, 932,000. It's going to be just under 2,000 square foot home, 6,500 to 8,000 square foot lot, 3 bedroom, 3 bath, and 790,000 for entry level homes in Chatsworth. It's going to be about 1,550 square feet, 3 bedroom, 2 bath, and average days on market there is 63. So what I'll tell you is that the market's still shaking out a little bit. There is opportunity if you're a seller or a buyer to get a good deal. And I want to also remind you that Chatsworth is not unique in that the entire industry statewide is feeling some of this insecurity But remember, there's never a bad time to sell, never a bad time to buy. There is, however, bad times to sell. So as long as you buy and you can afford the payment, even in bad times, you're gonna reap a benefit. California averages a little over 7% appreciation per year, going all the way back from 1976 forward. The nation averages about 4%. So we always tend to bounce higher than we fall. And right now we're giving a little bit back in order to put deals together if we're sellers. But we made a lot of money, and we're going to keep most of that money. So today could be a good time to sell. And with interest rates starting to flatten out a little bit and still well below the national average of 8% for a 30-year fixed mortgage going 1976 forward, money's still on sale. So all that being said, there's opportunity for buyers and sellers, and that's your market update for January here in Chatsworth.